Hello, and thank you for joining us for this presentation, Dollars and Cents, Keeping the Human in HR. This event is part of the SHRM webinar series. You can learn about upcoming and on-demand events from our e-newsletters and the webinar homepage. SHRM thanks ADP for sponsoring this program and our series of free webinars for the HR community. And now a little about today's program. While the right benefits plan design can play a critical role in driving down costs for both employers and employees, access to price transparency and accurate benchmarks are needed to maximize consumer-directed health programs. In this session, you will learn more about how HR at SMBs should focus on creating and emphasizing human moments that bridge technology and your people. Industry experts will walk you through key HR areas to recognize and focus on these human moments to maximize both dollars and cents. We'd also like to share with you some info about today's presenters. LaTroy Brown McCormick is an HCM strategist with the service engagement team at ADP's Total Source, the largest professional employer organization in the US. He provides strategic leadership and expertise in Total Source. Mr. Brown McCormick oversees health, wealth, tax, and compliance programs for over 300 HR business partners and key account executives that support over 15,000 clients, employing over 700,000 worksite employees. Monica Miles is an accomplished HR professional with over 20 years of experience. She's responsible for managing a $28 million book of business at ADP. As a trusted advisor and partner to some of ADP's largest clients in the South market, Ms. Miles leverages her expertise in client relationship building, human capital management, employee engagement, and benefit strategy development to deliver strategic consulting aimed at enhancing client satisfaction and retention. With introductions complete, I'm pleased to turn the webinar microphone over to our first presenter, LaTroy Brown McCormick, to get today's program underway. LaTroy, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you, Tony. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Dollars and Cents, Keeping the Human in Human Resources. We are so thrilled to have you here with us as we explore the intersection of financial strategy and human-centered HR. So I feel like I don't need to introduce myself. Tony did such an amazing job, but I'll tell you a little bit more about me. So as Tony said, I'm an HCM strategist, right? Supporting the PEO enablement organization within ADP Total Source. So within my role, I work closely with over 300 plus HR business partners, resource managers, key account executives, and our leadership teams to drive strategic initiatives around associate engagement, inclusion, diversity, equity, and belonging, retention, and ongoing training and development. Joining me today is one of my esteemed colleagues and one of my favorite humans, Monica Miles. Monica, please introduce yourself to this awesome audience today.
Thanks, LaTroy. You're one of my favorites too. My name is Monica Miles, and I'm a key account executive with ADP Total Source. In my role, I work with some of our largest accounts to drive employee engagement, develop benefit strategy, and achieve their business objectives. I have over 25 years experience in human resources, and I am thrilled to be here with you today.
Thanks, Monica. All right. For all of you, our awesome audience, let's talk about today. Today, we're going to discuss how HR can navigate the delicate balance between financial efficiency and employee well-being, ensuring that as we make our business decisions, we don't lose sight of the human in human resources. So to start our journey today, take a moment and think about your own organizations. Do you feel they lean more toward dollars, financial priorities, or cents, people-centered initiatives? Keep that thought in mind as we go through all of our different content today. Before we dive in, a couple of quick notes. This session is designed to be interactive. So throughout today's program, we'll have poll questions for you to jump in and share some insight about your organizations and just do some quick knowledge checks. But we encourage you to engage in the chat, take notes, download all of those awesome resources. And again, as Tony said, at the end of this session, we'll have time for a Q&A to hear more from you. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, up on the screen, I have a number, 3,035,000. Anybody in the audience want to take a guess as to what that number represents? Monica, do you think they can figure it out?
I don't know. Let's see what the chat says.
I don't know. I don't want to put too much pressure on everybody so early on in our presentation, so don't worry. I'm going to share it with you. It's the number of human lives that we get to impact here at ADP, our clients and their employees across our two outsourcing business units. With that said, we know that we have a privilege and a responsibility to know more about our employees today, their needs, their pain points, their motivations than any other organization in the world. So let's talk about that. Putting the human back in HR from both secondary research that's available to all and primary research that we've conducted exclusively with our own client and employee data. So I told you this was going to be interactive. So I'm going to hold true to my statement. It's time for our first poll. So we're going to bring that poll up for you, and we're going to make sure that we get a little insight. So we're going to ask for your participation. Up on your screen, you've got a poll. We like to know in your organization, which priority tends to take precedence? Your options: financial goals, cutting costs, efficiency and profitability, employee experience, engagement and well-being and inclusion. And then lastly, we have a strong balance between both. Let's see what you all have to say. This is it's a tight one, right? Between financial and that strong balance, but I think strong balance of both. And that's an interesting take because I think that's where a lot of organizations sit. So first, thank you for your participation in our poll. We're going to go ahead and close that out in another 5 seconds. Get you all going there. All right. So we will go ahead and close that poll out. Thank you all for your participation in that. And with that said, I'm going to go on and hand it off to Monica to kick us off.
Perfect. Thank you, LaTroy. All right, that's a great way to start our session. So we are going to talk first about benefits, something that's near and dear to our hearts, and compliance. Businesses aim for profitability and efficiency to stay competitive and grow. However, focusing solely on these can sometimes overlook the importance of employee engagement and well-being, which are crucial for your long-term success. Engaged and healthy employees are more productive, innovative, and likely to stay with your company. Balancing these goals means investing in your people, which in turn drives profitability and efficiency. Benefits are essential for employee satisfaction and retention, while compliance ensures the company avoids legal issues and penalties. Offering comprehensive benefits can improve employee satisfaction, reduce turnover, and attract top talent. Offering a wide range of benefits like health insurance, mental health support, and wellness programs shows employees that the company values their overall well-being. This can differ by industry, as employees in business services or finance and real estate feel more valued by their employer for medical and non-medical benefits, while retail employees are less likely to feel the same. This also varies by company size, as companies with fewer than 20 employees feel especially valued, while those with more than 250 employees are less enthusiastic. More than 9 in 10 employees connect their overall job satisfaction to their benefit package. While we typically think of medical, dental, and vision benefits, do not forget about these other must-have benefits: flexible work schedules, increased paid time off, paid family and medical leave, mental health benefits, and educational assistance. There are currently between 4 to 5 generations in our workplace today, and we must design a benefits package that is inclusive and attractive to employees at all stages of their lives. Understanding the demographics of your organization will be key to designing the strategy that works best for you. So what do we know about the different generations and what they value from a benefits package? Our baby boomers prefer traditional plans with copays. They want to understand the out-of-pocket costs at the point of service. They'll also value retirement savings vehicles like Roth 401k. Gen Xers were early adopters of high deductible health plans and health savings accounts. We're comfortable with these benefits, however, we do value choice. We're also dealing with aging parents and will value flexible work schedules, family leave, and increased vacation and sick leave. Millennials are starting families and value benefits such as family leave, work schedule flexibility, and tax savings options such as 401k, HSAs, and college savings plans. Gen Zs are very young and may still be covered on their parents' health insurance. This generation will value lifestyle perks such as gym memberships and pet wellness plans, as well as mental health benefits.
Hey, Monica, I'd love to jump in this segment and just tap in a little bit. Again, I asked at the top of this presentation to take your organizations into consideration as we navigate the content. Here's a great place to start. Look at your organization. How many generations are represented? Do we represent those generations in all of our offerings? So think about your total compensation offerings, benefits, right? Health and wellness, right? Financial readiness. Are we capturing our entire audience, right? You mentioned Gen Zers, still being on their parents' health plans. So health plans and medical cost and care is not necessarily a priority, but how do we extend something that makes sense and is meaningful? One thing to keep in mind is that your total comp offerings aren't one size fit all. We have to lean into the personalization of all of our offerings to make sure that we're truly connecting with all of our employees and that we're representing all of them in our offerings.
Thanks, LaTroy. Absolutely. Personalization is key when designing a total compensation package. So when designing your benefits package, don't forget about mental health benefits and your paid time off policies such as sick leave, vacation, and family leave. The 2024 ADP Employee Benefits Survey tells us that employees need premium options. Employees were split between wanting more taken out of their paycheck and paying less for care, and having less taken out of their paycheck and paying more for care. Employees in business services are more likely to have more than $5,000 to cover unexpected medical costs, while those in retail, construction, transportation, and utilities are less financially prepared in cases of unexpected illness or accident. This also varies by region. Employees in the Northeast are more likely to have more than $5,000 available, the highest across the regions. High deductible health plans may be a great solution. However, while HDHPs can be a great way to balance the budget while offering employees a comprehensive benefit package, we encourage you to offer both a traditional plan as well as a high deductible health plan. We also strongly encourage employers to contribute to the employees' health savings accounts. Employer contributions to the HSA not only increases the employee's total compensation, but it also helps to offset the out-of-pocket expense at the point of service. Education is key when rolling out HDHPs and HSAs. We need to educate employees on the benefits of the triple tax-advantaged HSA. Employees need to be aware of the differences between an HDHP and a traditional copay plan. While we tend to focus on benefits education during open enrollment, we encourage you to educate employees on the value of the benefits package year-round, and this is something I am very passionate about. Year-round education on the benefits package is crucial because it helps employees fully understand and utilize their benefits. When employees are informed, they're more likely to appreciate the value of their total compensation package, leading to higher satisfaction and retention. Continuous education can also ensure employees are making informed decisions during life changes or open enrollment periods. This proactive approach helps employees feel supported and engaged throughout the year. Combining benefits education with AI decision tools that provide data-driven recommendations to help employees choose the best plans can be very effective. This combination empowers employees to make informed decisions that best fit their needs. In addition to offering a comprehensive benefit package to improve employee satisfaction and attract and retain top talent, businesses must offer benefits to comply with both federal and state laws. The Affordable Care Act requires applicable large employers to offer affordable benefits to 95% of their full-time employees. There are many other federal regulations that impact employee benefits, such as ERISA, COBRA, and FMLA. State regulations can vary widely, but some common areas include state-mandated disability insurance, paid family and medical leave laws, paid sick leave, and state-specific health insurance mandates. It is important to check the regulations in each state where you operate to ensure compliance. Let's take a quick poll before we move on to allow LaTroy to continue to make the case for human-centered HR. Tony, you want to cue up the poll? Which strategy has been most effective in keeping HR human while still meeting business goals? Your choices are A, using employee feedback to shape policies, B, implementing people-centered leadership training, C, leveraging HR analytics for better decision-making, and D, offering flexible and well-being focused benefits. Take a moment and tell us your answer.
I was going to say benefits was leading the way. I think we still got it. Employee feedback is a pretty close second. Nice.
Great.
We're getting there.
Yeah. Looks like we might be running away with benefits.
Benefits is always a front runner, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's just so critical to how we function. I love that nod you had to the Gen Xers earlier, right? Like I am a Gen Xer, and I just think about the things that are important to me and my medical benefits and that extra family leave, right? As we care for our parents and grandparents and things like that. So it looks like benefits is going to be our clear winner on this one. So I'll give it another 5 seconds, and then we can go ahead and close out our poll.
All right.
All right. Awesome. Well, again, thank you for your participation in our poll and again, giving us a little bit of more insight into your organization. And thank you, Monica, for walking us through, the importance of a complete and competitive total compensation offering package. It's so important for every organization, no matter how small or how large. So as we navigate 2025, the world of work continues to evolve rapidly. In this next segment, I'll walk you through 7 key trends and priorities that are shaping the future of HR and business altogether, from employee well-being to pay transparency, and we'll even talk a little bit about AI legislation. These topics underscore one essential truth: keeping the human in human resources isn't just a goal, it's a business imperative. So let's dig in. Let's start with the employee experience and well-being as a business priority. The conversation around employee experience and well-being is no longer just an HR initiative that we stick to. It's a business strategy. Organizations that prioritize employee well-being see higher engagement, lower turnover, and increased productivity. Leaders must focus on mental health resources, flexibility, and a culture of belonging to retain their top talent in an increasingly competitive job market. Next, let's talk a little bit about skill-based hiring to drive your business success. The traditional emphasis on degrees and credentials is shifting toward a more skill-based environment when we talk about hiring. This trend helps employers access a wider pool of talent, it promotes diversity, and ensures that employees are hired based on their ability to perform, rather than their educational background. Investing in skills development will be crucial for companies looking to build an agile, future-ready team. And of course, we have to talk about remote work before we leave, right? Remote and hybrid work environments remain hot topics. Employees value flexibility, and organizations that provide remote or hybrid options are better positioned to attract and retain talent. However, companies do struggle, and very often struggle, with balancing productivity, collaboration, and compliance, right? While ensuring that their remote employees feel like they belong and feel included. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in depth a little later on in our presentation today. So I would be remiss if I didn't talk about AI. And I got to admit it, I don't know about you, Monica, but I kind of have a love-hate relationship depending on the day with AI, right? We all, at some point or another, have leveraged ChatGPT. We've used it, like my family members use it for school and work, and we don't know whether it's a friend or foe, but I think we're quickly figuring out it's not going away. So we have to lean into it, and this is really key for every organization. AI is revolutionizing the HR process, from recruiting to performance management. But new legislation is emerging that regulates its use. So as employers and decision makers, you must stay informed about these evolving regulations to ensure that ethical, unbiased AI deployment exists. Transparency and fairness will be key in leveraging AI to enhance, not replace, human decision-making in the workplace. And then, of course, there's pay equity and pay transparency. Pay transparency laws are expanding. They're pushing companies to rethink their compensation structures. Employees expect fairness and clarity in how they are paid. Proactively addressing these items, it builds trust, it enhances your employer reputation, it mitigates risk, and companies that prioritize equitable compensation will stand out in today's competitive job market. Next, we have to talk about wage and hour developments, right? They're happening all over the country. We read about them all the time. Recent changes in wage and hour regulations are forcing businesses to reassess their pay structures, from overtime rule adjustments to new minimum wage laws. Employers must ensure compliance while maintaining fair and competitive practices. Keeping up with these developments is critical to avoid legal risks and maintain employee trust. So next, we want to address well-being technology as a way to humanize the employee experience. Advancements in well-being technology are transforming how organizations support their workforce, from AI-powered mental health apps to personalized wellness programs. Companies are leveraging tech to create a more meaningful employee experience. The goal here is not just efficiency, it's about fostering a workplace where employees feel valued, supported, and empowered to thrive. So in closing, these 7 trends highlight a common theme. HR leaders must be proactive, adaptable, and people-centric. By embracing these priorities, organizations can foster a workplace culture that is, inclusive, competitive, and most importantly, human-centered. The future of work isn't just about the policies and the technology. It's about the people. I think it's time for another poll, Monica.
Yes, thank you. And we're going to talk more about the 3 Ps: people, profit, and purpose. So, Tony, go ahead and cue up our poll. Which of the 3 Ps, people, profit, or purpose, does your organization excel at the most? Your answer choices.
Excuse me, and Monica LaTroy, just one quick note about polls. Let me know when you're ready to present the results. That will allow me to then put the results in front of the audience. We needed to make that clarification for you to give everyone the full experience.
Thank you. All right, so you have people, prioritizing employee well-being; profit, you make data-driven business decisions; purpose, you align your HR practices with your company mission; or D, we struggle to balance all 3. Take a moment and let us know. Looks like it's pretty well balanced so far, LaTroy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are struggling. Let's see, struggling with all 3. Seems to be the front runner at the moment.
Yeah,
let's see. Let's give it a few more votes. Yeah, I'd say that's our front runner there. We'll give it about 5 more seconds and then we'll close the poll out and share our results with you. All right. Let's go ahead and close the poll.
LaTroy, I'd say go ahead and keep talking a little bit more. It takes a moment to process those results, and I will get them on the screen once they are ready.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So
like 33% say they struggle to balance all three.
Okay. That's not bad, right? And again, like not surprising, like every organization is, really hyper focused on one element or another element, right? So, people struggle. Like some organizations lead with the people, some orgs are so focused on the profits, right? And then, some organizations don't understand purpose because they're still trying to figure it out, right? And restructure themselves. So no surprises in those results. But with 33% saying that we struggle to balance all three, I think it's probably a perfect time for us to segue into our next segment. Monica, what do you think?
I think so. All right. So let's talk more about the 3 Ps: people, purpose, and profit. Creating a positive employee experience has become increasingly popular, and for good reason. But what exactly is the employee experience, and how do you cultivate it? The employee experience is the sum of what employees see, hear, think, and feel about an organization. This experience impacts employee morale, brand reputation, and customer and client experiences. The employee experience starts from the candidate phase and extends through the entire employee lifecycle. Employees who feel cared for by their employer are 92% more likely to feel engaged at work, 65% more likely to be loyal, and 56% more likely to be productive at work. The business case for a positive employee experience can feel overwhelming, leading employers to ask how to enhance it. The answer lies in one simple question: what is important to my employees? Since individual needs vary, the key is personalization. Personalization enhances the employee experience. Examples include customizing tasks to speak to each employee's unique skills or strengths, emailing announcements from a human leader rather than an automated bot, and frequent, meaningful one-on-one meetings with a direct manager. Additionally, how individual employees are personally recognized and appreciated by their managers goes a long way in helping employees know that they are valued. These are just a few things that can help employees feel cared for. Today's employees want access to information and professional development opportunities. So think about your organization. How do your employees get this? What's the path? Many employees say they lack advancement opportunities at work. When employees quit their jobs, it's not always about moving to the next rung on the career ladder. It's about finding a ladder with more rungs to climb. Career advancement isn't the straight line it once was. Between July 23 and August 6, 2024, the ADP Research Institute asked a random, stratified panel of nearly 38,000 workers across 34 markets to identify their biggest barriers to career advancements. The largest share of respondents, 19%, said their current job lacks any opportunity to advance at all, and 15% believe strongly that they would need to change employers to get ahead. It should come as no surprise to you that ambitious employees are more likely to be looking for new opportunities. 34% of workers who said they can't find an opportunity to advance at their current employer said they were actively looking or interviewing for a new job. Among those who were confident they could advance, only 6% said they were actively looking. The risk to retention is accompanied by another negative for employers: lower productivity. Workers who feel strongly that they need to change employers to get ahead were 2.6 times less likely to consider themselves highly productive. Among workers who see opportunities to advance in their current company, the ADP Research Institute asked why they stay. The top 3 reasons were opportunities for advancement, professional training and skills development, and flexibility in scheduling. As LaTroy mentioned, remote and hybrid work remain a hot topic. Over 95% of workers want some form of working from home. The rise of remote work has enabled organizations to hire talent that would not have traditionally been available in their local area. From February 2020 to June 2023, the share of long-distance or remote workers rose from 23% to more than 31%. This is especially relevant for employers looking to engage with and recruit younger generations such as millennials and Gen Z, who rank a positive work-life balance as their top consideration when choosing an employer. For employers, it can mean improved recruiting, reduced turnover, more productive workers, and the potential to reduce labor costs even in expensive places. Half of organizations report that building a talent pipeline is their top priority in the coming year. Remote work is not without its challenges. Potentially concerning effects could include remote workers not getting the same career opportunities as before due to less face time with leaders, and the complex compliance obligations to employers with remote employees in multiple jurisdictions. Navigating multi-state compliance requirements is something organizations should take very seriously. Recognition is a powerful way to reinforce a positive employee experience. Acknowledging individual contributions fosters a sense of belonging, and nearly 84% of employees say recognition affects their motivation to succeed at work. Regular, genuine recognition from managers and peers boosts morale and reinforces desired behaviors. Personalized notes of appreciation and shout-outs in team meetings illustrates how a culture of recognition supports overall employee well-being. LaTroy, what are your thoughts? How does recognition impact your motivation to succeed?
You know, Monica, it's a big deal, right? Recognition is critical to, giving your employees that boost, right, of morale, and letting them know again that their efforts are appreciated, and that their contributions are heard and felt throughout the organization. But that looks different for everybody, right? I have this conversation all the time with my peers, with my leaders, and other leaders, right, who lead teams on how to recognize your associates in a personalized way that's unique to them. Some people like additional time off. Some people like personalized handwritten notes. Some people like to be called out on like a team meeting or in a company newsletter, right? I am a candy bar guy, right? So if you're going to recognize me, Snickers is the way. But that's not going to be the same for all of your employees. So it's just really important that leaders know how to connect. What does recognition look like, not just in your organization, but on your teams and for your individual employees? That personalization, it's a true theme that just rides through every pillar of our work-life cycle. So recognition is just one more thing that we need to consider personalization when engaging with our employees, for sure.
Absolutely. Thanks, LaTroy. While you prefer being paid in Snickers, the rest of us know that compensation matters. Employees can have access to more data than ever before and are researching salaries and wages. Using data to run compensation analysis on jobs and factoring in geographical differences is important. Fewer workers had gripes about their pay in 2024, but while the share of people who felt unfairly paid fell from a year earlier, sentiment gaps about fairness persisted, especially between men and women. In 2024, the ADP Research Institute found that 27% of workers felt that their pay wasn't fair, down from 31% in 2023. Despite this improvement, 28% of women felt their pay wasn't fair in 2024, compared to only 23% of men. and this gender gap gets worse as people get older and farther along in their careers. LaTroy spoke about pay equity earlier, so let's look at the differences between pay equity and pay transparency. Pay equity ensures that employees are compensated fairly for their work regardless of gender, race, or other factors. Pay transparency, on the other hand, involves openly sharing information about compensation structures, which can help build trust and address any disparities. Together, they create a more inclusive and motivated workforce. There are also many laws related to pay equity. The Equal Pay Act mandates equal pay for equal work, regardless of gender. The National Labor Relations Act protects employees' rights to discuss wages. Recent trends show growing support for pay transparency measures, and many states have implemented laws requiring employers to disclose salary ranges in job postings. We encourage you to review salaries and wages relative to the market and identify and correct any potential pay equity issues. So we've spoke a lot about people, so let's talk about purpose and its relation to profits. The purpose of an organization is its core reason for existence, often linked to its mission and values. So what's the purpose of your organization? And does every employee or your organization know and understand the purpose? If not, why? Tony, let's take another poll. Do your employees understand your organization's purpose? Answer yes, A, yes, B, no, or C, unsure. And while they're answering, LaTroy, do you know ADP's purpose and values?
Well, you're going to put me on the spot there, Monica. That's cool. No, it's all good. Listen, I've been with ADP for almost 22 years now, right? And it's a phenomenal place, but at its core, right, our values lie in the philosophy that each person counts. It's kind of what we've been quietly saying here all along. Each person counts, right? That each distinct voice fuels our innovation. Here at ADP, we know an inclusive workplace that values diverse perspectives, cultivates the best ideas. We continually strive to create a space where everyone is appreciated and valued for their unique individuality. That's why we make it the pillar of everything that we do here, and it's part of a one-of-a-kind culture. And it's a business imperative for us. We believe in embedding these principles throughout all of our business units, from our policies to our products. Did I do good on the fly, Monica?
You did. You passed. All right. The answers are in, and 75% said that employees understand the organization's purpose. That is awesome. We're so glad to hear that. Because what we know is that when employers invest in their people, focusing on increasing engagement, their workforce is more inclined to perform their best and stay with the organization longer. There is a direct correlation between engagement and other important business metrics, such as customer satisfaction, profitability, productivity, and workplace safety. When employees understand and connect with your purpose, they're more engaged, motivated, and aligned with your company goals. This alignment drives productivity, innovation, and customer satisfaction, ultimately boosting profits. It creates a sense of belonging and shared purpose, making employees know that their work contributes to something meaningful. Millennials and Gen Z often prioritize working for companies that align with their values, like social responsibility, sustainability, and inclusivity. By clearly communicating how your purpose aligns with these values, you can attract and retain talent across generations and create a more committed and motivated workforce.
Awesome. Thank you, Monica, for connecting those dots with people, purpose, and profits. I hope that was as insightful for all of you tuning in with us today. So now we're going to talk about applying that framework. And there was no way we were going to get out of here without talking about risk and safety, right? Like no conversations, with respect to HR these days, you can talk about without talking about AI, risk and safety. It's a huge thing. So when we think about risk and safety in the workplace, simply put, it's easy to focus on compliance, right? Making sure we check the right boxes to meet our regulations. But the real workplace safety isn't just about compliance. It's about the culture. It's about ensuring that safety is part of how we work, right? Not just an afterthought. And more importantly, it's about using data to make informed decisions that protect our people while we're driving our business success. So in this segment, we will explore practical ways to integrate safety into daily operations, from training to productivity to proactive injury reporting, right? The goal here is to create workplaces where employees feel secure, engaged, and empowered to contribute without fear. So let's talk about it. All right. So safety culture being embedded into an organization's DNA, right? No brainer. A strong safety culture starts at the top, but it's sustained from the ground up. Leaders must set the tone, but employees must feel and be able to take ownership of their own safety. This means you have to foster open communication, encourage near-miss reporting without fear of retaliation, and recognize proactive safety behaviors. Organizations that exhibit strong safety cultures see low turnover, higher engagement, fewer incidents. Why is that? It's because when employees feel safe, they perform better and they stay longer. Okay. Next, let's talk about safety training, right? Moving beyond that checklist that we talked about earlier. So as we know, traditional safety training often feels like a one-time event, right? Something we check off or we do once a year, but the real safety training is ongoing. It's engaging, and most importantly, it's practical. It should be a hands-on experience, right? Scenario-based and reinforced on a regular basis to keep safety top of mind for your employees. Things like micro-learning and gamification are great ways to make your safety training stick. If we expect employees to take safety seriously, we need to make meaningful learning moments relevant and consistent for all of them. Then we want to move into that mode of safety as part of our productivity. There's a constant misconception that safety slows productivity. But we all know, in reality, an unsafe workplace is what slows down productivity. Injuries, absenteeism, and high turnover, right? They all impact your bottom line. Companies that prioritize safety see higher efficiency because their employees can focus on their work without the distractions or the risk. Now let's talk about that proactive injury management. Listen, the cost of workplace injuries goes well beyond medical expenses. It's going to affect your morale. It's going to directly impact your retention and your operational continuity. Instead of reacting to injuries, organizations should be proactive with ergonomic assessments, early intervention strategies, and return to work programs that help your employees recover and return to work safely. Then, of course, we're going to talk about the data. Data in any capacity is a game changer, but particularly here in safety. Most leading organizations use predictive analytics to identify risk factors before incidents occur. By tracking trends in near misses, safety violations, and injury reports, businesses can shift from a reactive approach to a proactive stance, creating a safer workplace while reducing costs. So at the end of the day, safety isn't just a policy. It's a mindset. It's about creating an environment where employees don't just comply with safety protocols, they believe in them. And when the organizations invest in safety as a part of their culture, everybody benefits. Employees, leadership, and your bottom line. So the question isn't whether we can afford to focus on safety. The question is, can we afford not to? So true. The time has come. We're coming to call for us to introduce our work-life blueprint. It's a great tool for helping your organizations drive an elevated workplace experience. It centers around 4 core needs that every employee, you, me, Monica, and all of your worksite employees all have. And those needs are the need to be and feel productive, feel like we belong, be inspired, and also be uniquely valued. Let's take a deeper look at each one of them. So here it is, our work-life blueprint, right? Again, designed to help you drive an elevated workplace experience. So let's talk about each of these quadrants and go through them in a little bit more detail. So for productive, you're going to find 3 micro moments of employees wanting to feel needed, equipped for their jobs, and having a supportive environment. If we close our eyes for just a few seconds and think back to 5 years how organizations operate, from job roles, workplace safety, into ensuring that they understand what true diversity looks like in the workplace, right? This might feel a bit daunting and a little bit overwhelming, but this is also the perfect opportunity for you to rethink what productivity looks like at work. This is your opportunity to start fresh, right? And find new ways to support your teams and your employees to unlock everybody's potential. Next, we talk about belonging. And under belonging, you're going to find some micro moments where employees are trying to understand where they fit. They want to have shared experiences. They want to feel like their colleagues are not just colleagues, but family. Well, remote work environments have created a bit of a challenge for us with that, right? And it's been a little difficult for many people. Employees feel isolated, frustrated, and anxious. Some organizations, they have fewer opportunities to physically connect in an office with their peers and colleagues, right? It's harder for them to find a sense of belonging. And further, we have to teach them how to drive social change. We must help them truly be inclusive. We have to help them, find their voices. We have to listen and be allies for those that have been historically underrepresented, right? And treated unfairly. Employees want to know that their organizations stand for equality and that their employers truly care about them. So use this framework to refocus your company's culture. Let's start treating our employees like the extended family that they are, right? Communicate often and make it a point to meet regularly, whatever regularly looks like for you, so that your employees still feel connected. Additionally, I encourage all leaders to have open conversations about diversity, celebrating differences, and provide a platform for change. As you focus on these important connections, you'll notice greater morale, energy, and collaboration in your workforce. Next, we talk about inspired. Inspired has the micro moments of feeling connected to a larger purpose, right? Helping our associates align to their passions and creating an opportunity for them to grow. Well, we learned from the pandemic, right? A lot of things we're still learning, but the key thing is knowing that we are all part of a larger purpose, right? Remember that word purpose from Monica's presentation earlier? Now more than ever, we have to help our organizations show up for their employees, right? Our clients, our communities. How are we showing up for the people we represent? Let's help our employees find creative new ways to take care of others, use their passions for good, and encourage other employees to do the same. It's time to grow. It's time to inspire growth. And it's time to let your employees see a more human, empathetic side of the business. Lastly, we have uniquely valued. And this micro moment, or these micro moments, are all about recognition and celebration, discovering how your voice matters, and being personally invested. As you help your employees and your organization navigate their way forward, you need to remind employees that you are relying on them to help create the new normal. Provide tools and channels that will allow them to share their ideas and discuss creative solutions. Give your employees a chance to show their unique value while supporting one another and the business. So as we all work to create a new and better world of work, it's a good time to refocus on gratitude. Be sure to celebrate your employees' efforts, whether that's through a handwritten thank you note, a phone call, a small reward, a lunch, or something as simple as a Snickers bar. These small tokens of recognition can make a big difference, especially in these times. So again, a friendly reminder that the Work-Life Blueprint experience, this framework is a research-based approach to delivering the best employee experience. While the workplace may look very different than it did just a few short years ago, the need for solidarity is amplified. The 4 employee needs to feel productive, to feel like you belong, to be inspired and uniquely valued can provide you a critical path forward. Together, this all makes up the Work-Life Experience Blueprint. We have reimagined how ADP touches on these offerings to help our clients and their worksite employees, right? We want to help you align your HR and talent strategy so that you can unlock these 4 core needs, because we know driving meaningful engagement reduces turnover. It unlocks discretionary efforts and can sometimes even matter more than pay. So with that said, we'd like to thank you for having us present here. We're going to get ready to segue into our Q&A content, but we hope that you really enjoyed the content that we've shared here today. Tony, we'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, LaTroy. Before we turn to audience questions, we have some announcements to share with you, including information regarding the SHRM PDC you've earned for viewing today's program. First, SHRM thanks ADP for sponsoring this program and SHRM's series of free webinars. The impact of your work is essential to your organization, and that is why ADP wants you to stay ahead of whatever comes next. With over 75 years of experience and thousands of HR experts, you get a team of professionals to turn to and help you accomplish your goals. Whether it's payroll and taxes, compliance, best-in-class benefits, workers' compensation, or attracting and retaining top talent, ADP is there to help you with any HR outsourcing needs. To learn more about ADP's full-service HR solutions and how they can help your company be ready for the next anything, visit adp.com/full-service-HR. And with that, let's turn to audience questions. And let's begin here. An audience member has asked, for a small nonprofit organization or grassroots group with a limited budget, how can HR and HR leaders prioritize people first strategies without derailing their mission-driven outcomes?
I'll take that. That's a great question. So HR leaders in nonprofits can prioritize their people first strategies by focusing on transparency, communication, and professional development. For example, by clearly communicating the organization's purpose, HR can ensure employees feel connected to the mission. Even with a limited budget, you can create a culture of recognition and learning, boosting engagement and keeping everyone aligned with your goals. For low-cost, high-impact initiatives, you can implement regular, informal check-ins to make sure your employees feel heard and valued. You can also set up peer recognition programs where team members can shout out each other's contributions. These strategies are all making people feel connected to your mission without breaking the bank. So it just lines back up with our work-life blueprint, making people feel inspired, that sense of belonging, and uniquely valued.
Thanks for that great answer, Monica. Another member of our audience asked, in fast-paced tech environments that rely heavily on data and automation, how do you preserve empathy and the human connection in your people strategies?
I'll tap in on that one, Tony. That's a really good question, right? In a world of technology, right, where it's changing constantly by the minute, I can't speak for all of you, but I know I feel like every option of whatever it is, right? We have to remember we are wired to optimize, but people aren't code, right? Simply put, right? People aren't code. So we have to maintain empathy by designing human checkpoints and building that into our systems. And that can be something as simple as live manager check-ins, maybe even skip level meetings, or using engagement survey data just to, report, but to act, right? so often employers, want to do surveys, they want to get this data back, and then we get the data and then we don't go anywhere with it, right? And that is the biggest hurdle. So using that survey data, not to just report, but to act, right? But also make space for reflection, right? Think about reflecting, right? Focusing on your team and their well-being. I think when we combine agile delivery with emotional intelligence, we create this unison with high performing and high caring teams.
Thanks for that great answer, LaTroy. Another member of our audience asks, in finance or higher education industries where senior leadership is often metrics driven, what are some practical ways to measure and communicate the ROI of people first initiatives?
Okay. So I think it's all going to go back to human connection, right, LaTroy?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut.
No, you're fine. I think we're both excited to answer that last question, right? So I think it doesn't matter. And we get this question so often. And as I support HR business partners and we think about like the different industries that we all are partnered in, like it doesn't matter, right? Whether you're in the automotive or agriculture, right? Like there's simple things that we can do to drive engagement for our associates. And sometimes that's just walking the halls, right? Sometimes that is, sending out a newsletter, right? Where we call out the celebrations, where we call out our employees by name, right? We get so tied up into industry specific engagement and industry specific answers around this thing, we lose sight of just the human. Your employees, regardless of whether they work in IT or tech or agriculture or automotive, right? They all respond to connectivity. So just leveraging things like having leaders come and sit down in a lunchroom with no agenda and just engage with your employees and find out how they're doing, right? We love what a good survey data tells us, but what do you learn from sitting down with your employees and engaging with them, right? It's just time to take a step back and revisit some of those easy, right? Just traditional things that we've done in the past that just humanize the experience so much more for your worksite employees. And I hope that kind of answers it for that specific group, but for everybody as well.
I think that's a great answer, LaTroy. And with that, we are coming to the end of our session together. Thank you, LaTroy. Thank you, Monica.